Hi, welcome back. I'm Heather. Today, I'm going to give you 5 tips for wrapping your Christmas gifts this year. These are little tips and tricks that I've come up with over the years to make wrapping go much quicker and a lot smoother, and kind of to also build some anticipation within the gifts. Let's get started. So my first tip is to not use gift tags. And so I absolutely hate writing out the same name over and over again. One year I even went through and printed off gift tags so that I wouldn't have to write them all. But I came up with a different solution. So each year the kids get a specific wrapping paper that is just for that child. And then we have one that's just for everybody. And then I'll do individual gift tags for like my nieces who we give a gift to, people where it's not a full load of gifts. So I love this wrapping paper that is double-sided that we get from Costco. The rolls are enormous, so I don't have to worry about running out of that paper for each child. And then at the end, when the roll is getting low, I will just use those for those individual gifts instead of it going for one of our kids where they're going to have multiple gifts. So tip number 1, double-sided paper. Tip number 2, wrap each child in their own paper. So to go along with that, you need to keep track of who has what, because you may not remember in a few weeks on Christmas morning, and that would be terrible. So I write down just a description of the paper. So which child, so I think this is going for my 7-year-old this year. And then I just wrote down that it's the red and green plaid. That way I know and can keep track of. And this is fantastic because we put our presents out underneath the Christmas tree early on in the year. So it looks pretty under the tree and it builds the kids' anticipation. And they have no idea whose gifts are which one. I love using a folding table, and I like the folding table because it has this straight line going down the middle, and I can use a box cutter to just simply cut down, and I always end up with a nice straight line, and it takes 2 seconds to cut the wrapping paper, and so it goes much quicker and smoother. Next tip is this Scotch gift wrap tape. This is the only tape that I like using for gift wrapping. It goes on clear and it sticks well. And if I mess up something, it can also come off pretty easily without tearing the wrapping paper. To go along with that, I always take it apart and put it into a tape dispenser. So this means that I don't have to have 2 hands on this when I'm going to wrap the gift. I can just grab it out one-handed and rip it off. It has a nice metal blade, so I'm not messing with the little plastic one that sometimes messes up the tape. All right. And then my last tip is to use fabric ribbon. So I love this because we just reuse it every year. Usually great grandma, when we're done unwrapping gifts Christmas morning, she'll just take and roll them around her hand, and they store nice and flat. I can reuse them every year. And best of all, they don't get smashed on the gifts when they're under the tree or pulled off when the gifts get moved around. They're on there nice and secure, and it makes your packages look extra fancy. So those are my tips. It really helps with wrapping and making things go so much smoother and much quicker. And then my last tip is to do something fun while you're wrapping. I love to throw on a movie. Elf is my personal favorite. So we usually throw on a movie and we'll just sit here and wrap for one evening and get it all done and out of the way. And then the kids come out the next morning and have lots of gifts under the tree of which they have no idea whose is whose. So I hope you use these tips this year to make your wrapping go a little bit smoother and have a little bit easier time making those gifts look beautiful. And don't forget to like and subscribe and we'll catch you next time.